It's time for us to turn up the heat with some brand new fire cards as we count down every single day until Moonrise pre-orders open on November 15th. Let's get it. Don't forget that if you back our Elestrals Clash Kickstarter right now, you actually get early access to these reveals 1 day early, so don't miss out. But let's talk about these brand new Fire Elestrals that are coming to Moonrise. First up is a familiar friend. Sinder is back with 3 attack and 2 defense, and you know this card as a super essential piece to the mill strategy. Every time Sinder receives 1 or more fire spirits, your opponents must send the top 3 cards from their deck to the underworld. This allows you to use Nexus and other mechanics to get spirits onto Sinder and force your opponent to mill cards every single time, and you could whittle their entire deck down as an alternate win condition. Now this card is coming back in Moonrise because it has a brand new Ascension, Salashade. I personally always felt like the Sinder line needed a little bit extra, and we decided to create Salashade to ascend from it with a brand new element added to it. It is Fire and Lunar, and while it doesn't have the most daunting attack and defense stat at 3 and 3, this brand new Fire and Lunar Elestral can do some serious work because it's going to get +1 attack for each Elestral in your opponent's underworld. So if you're playing against somebody and you force them to mill and they continue to mill cards into their underworld, this card gets to astronomical attack levels as the game progresses. When a player casts an Elestral, you or your opponent, an opponent must send the top 3 cards of their deck to the underworld. So Salashade has the opportunity to force your opponent to continue to mill themselves every time you or they cast Elestrals to the field, ultimately making Salashade even stronger every single time they do that. This next Fire Elestral is going to allow those fire decks to go even more aggro, and that is Bellowby. I absolutely love Bellowby's design, one of my favorite new Elestrals in Moonrise. This has 2 attack and 2 defense, but a really incredible effect. Fire and Wind enchanted Elestrals get +1 attack, including itself, so you can pair this up with Wind Elestrals or Fire Elestrals and give them a nice buff. You can also target them as his active effect and give them the effect the Elestral is unaffected by counter runes until the next turn. That means if you pair Bellowby with a strong Elestral next to it and it has a wind or a fire spirit on it, you can target them and make them immune to counter runes until the next turn. That is incredibly powerful, and you're also giving them attack buff. This card is a great supporter card for fire decks, and I look for Bellowby to be strong not only in Moonrise, but for sets to come. I think this card has a lot of potential, and I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on it. Bellowby does ascend into a brand new Elestral and kind of ties in that beautiful synergy with Wind with a new Elestral called Enfornax. Enfornax is a 4 attack Elestral that is Fire and Wind enchanted with 7 defense. It has a really cool effect that says you can expend a Wind Spirit in order to return an opponent's card to their hand. So you can bounce cards back to their hand, and when you cast an Elestral or rune with at least Fire or Wind, you can give this Enfornax +2 attack until the end phase. So the turn he's cast out, he's actually going to get a nice little buff, and then every time you cast an Elestral or a rune, you can buff him up even stronger. So if you're utilizing a card like, let's say, Gorgon's Gaze, or let's say Shield of Achilles, or any of those typical cards, and you're utilizing Fire and Wind Spirits on your opponent's turn, you can buff up your Enfornax as well. So some really cool potential with this card. I think this card could actually see some really significant play, especially with Bellowby entering the meta. I'm really excited to see the synergies between Fire and Wind come together here in Moonrise. Get excited, but we're not even done. I've got one more Elestral to reveal, and that is Torchin. Torchin will be one of our holo rares in Moonrise, and this Elestral was first revealed through Elestriad Season 1, and I just love him. I feel like he really carries the spirit of Elestrals, and this is a card that you're going to see a lot of. I really love Torchin. It's a 1 attacker with 1 defense with a super cool effect. You guys have been asking me for a fire heal card, so I gave you Torchin, man. When this Torchin declares an attack, you return fire spirits from your underworld to your spirit deck up to the number of enchanting fire on your field. So if Torchin's your only thing and you attack, you get to heal 1. That doesn't seem like very good. But if you pair it with a divine rune like Hephaestus with 4 spirits on it, you have the opportunity to heal 5 by simply attacking. And you might say, Adrian, how is Torchin going to attack when it only has 1 attack? Well, don't forget, you can attack into defense position Elestrals and just have nothing happen because there's no damage that you're taking. You're just not knocking them out. I'm just saying, you can attack with Torchin into those defense position Astro Rabbits and make them punished, healing yourself up for 5 spirits with a Hephaestus. You guys can have fun with this one. I love Torchin. I hope you guys are excited for it. A brand new Fire Elestral coming in Moonrise. Elestrals Clash Kickstarter is going big, so don't forget to check it out in the description below. You get those reveals 1 day early. Firecasters, I hope you're excited for brand new tools coming in Moonrise, including Enfornax, Salashade, and Torchin. Bellowby looks to be a menace as well. I think that card could be really fun to utilize. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another epic reveal. Peace.